Welcome to another episode of Conversations One-on-One with Daniel Phoenix and the lovely Sharon. Today we want to talk about disciplining our children and the slave mentality. Got an interesting one here today. The reason we wanted to talk about this is because we recently had a conversation one-on-one about some of the things we went through as children and some of the things we were beat with as children. So let's get down to business. When we talk about disciplining our children and the slave mentality, of course, we're talking about those good old fashioned whoopings, or as some may call them, ass whoopings or beatings. Mm-hmm. When you used to have to go get the switch and, how you gonna go and get the weapon that's gonna beat your own ass? I don't know. That's a little traumatizing to some of us. Some of us may still be going through some things about that today. Mm-hmm. Yes. But where does that come from? My love, where do you think that comes from?
I think it comes from we was slaves on the plantation and master used to whoop us. That's the equivalent to what the master used to do on the plantation to get us to stay in line. So we equate that to how we make our kids stay in line. If you're not doing what I tell you to do, or if you disobey me, which is doing what I tell you not to do, or back in the day, it was called discipline. And it did make us act right, the same way it made the slaves act right on the plantation, the forms of disciplinary tools that were used, extension cords, cable cords, switches, broom, whatever your parent could find to discipline you with, that's what was used. Like, when I was getting disciplined with a switch or a belt or extension cord, nothing about that said love. Nothing about that moment from my parent or whoever, my parent or authority figure, nothing about that moment said love to me.
It used to make me angry when I used to get beat. I got beat so bad with a cable cord one time, I thought my name was Comcast. But, I probably done been beat with a spatula, with a cooking spoon, and I agree, that doesn't say love. But at the same time, has those whoopings shaped us into the people we are today? That's the catch-22. Because some of these kids ain't getting their ass beat, and they running around here like they running around here, like they run something. I feel like there's no sense of consequence. When there's no sense of consequence, then that's when you become spoiled. And there's a lot of spoiled adults out here too. Feel like they entitled and all of that. Y'all deal with them at work, especially if you're doing customer service or something like that. They feel like they entitled. Those ones who ain't never had their ass beat. No, I ain't gonna say that. You can still feel entitled and had those whoopings growing up, But I think to a certain point that can traumatize a child. It's not even really. It's like you ruling your household by fear, because that's the reason I never made the same mistake twice. I knew I wasn't trying to get my ass beat again. It used to hurt. I done had a tooth knocked out. It was loose, of course. It was loose. I was younger. I done had bruises, welts, all that type of stuff. But at the same time, I do feel like it made some of us tougher.
Well, that's how the master ran the plantation with fear. I mean, so it's doing what it was meant to do back in the days when it was being used. It was meant for intimidation and to install fear in the slaves, as it was meant to intimidate and instill fear in our children. But with that being said, there has to be another way for parents to take more, to install or to be more disciplinaries in their children's lives today. It's a lot of things going on out here with our youth. Killing, stealing cars, beating up old people. I mean, there's no value of life anymore. It's like the world is now a video game. Like the whole thing is GTA with GTA.
Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. They're stealing cars, beating up the people, killing people, racing. Like, where does the parent take responsibility in what their kids are doing? Where does the buck comes back to us? Because even though those methods was cruel, and I didn't feel the love at the time that was being, dished out to me, I'm sure it was done with love. So we wouldn't go on and do worse things like these kids are doing today. So some type of way we have to find a medium, because you don't want your kid to be a statistic being killed out here by the cops when you just could have been harder at home.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, if you just using the belt, depending on the type of belt, I think that may be acceptable. That may be reasonable. But if you're using the other end and you're using the buckle, we have common sense to know what's over the limit, what's crossing the line. Mm-hmm. If you're visibly leaving marks on your children, I don't think that's good at all. They're supposed to get the point. But I do think not disciplining a child is kind of taking away the consequence factor, because I believe that disciplining the child lets them know that there are consequences in life and kind of gets them ready for that aspect of life as they're growing up. Now, whoopings are not the only way. Punishment or taking something away that they value, like a video game or something, or making it so they can't watch TV. That used to happen sometimes to me in between the ass whoopings. Mm-hmm. You did XYZ. Well, you can't watch TV for a week or two. And I would read. I done read so many books. I can't name them all. But there's different ways of disciplining your children, and we know the limit when it comes to whipping our children. I don't condone child abuse at all. Like the stuff I went through, the extension cords, the cable cords, flip-flops. The phone flip-flops didn't hurt so bad. But anything that's going to leave marks or visible bruises on your children, I'm against all of that, Now, some of y'all adults need y'all ass beat right now. Right now. But, hey, slave mentality, yeah, I believe it was passed down from the plantation. Just like a lot of things, the way we eat, the way some of us talk. A lot of things have been passed down from the plantation, and I believe whipping is definitely one of them, especially instead of your mom just folding it over, having a little fold and whip you like that. She wrapped that joint around her hand and whip you for real. Yeah, that comes from slavery. Sometimes behavior is hereditary. So it can be passed down from generation to generation, genetically. So what is it going to take for us to be able to discipline our children, not cross the line, but still be able to get the point across so that they don't become monsters? Mm-hmm. That's the question that needs to be answered.
And we're already being portrayed as monsters.
Exactly. So, definitely feel free to leave your comments below and let us know what you all think about it. What's the limit when it comes to whipping? What can be used and what can't be used? Should we be whipping our children at all? Let us know down in the comments below.
And if you like our content, please subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for watching Conversations 1-on-1. We'll see you all next time, and peace.